here with Gordon's Jeep. Now, if you remember in previous episodes, we did some work on the Jeep trying to get it inspected. We replaced an O2 sensor, right?
Yep.
We replaced the distributor.
Yep. And the crankshaft sensor.
And the the crankshaft sensor. And we thought that would be it to get it inspected, but as soon as we got all those things fixed, what happened? You started getting an evap.
An evap code come through.
He got a small leak. It said very small, right?
Yeah.
The evap code was very small leak, and we're like, oh great, it's a very small leak. And little did we know, but when they're talking about evap, a very small leak is the hardest one to find because it's a very small leak. So we've been trying to get together to try to find this very small leak, and I kept resetting the code. We changed the gas cap to see if that would work, and that didn't work. And the funny thing is, the very small leak is now given a code that says large leak, which is good because large leak should be easier to find than the small leak. But in the meantime, we got Easter Sunday, right? 84 degrees, 85 degrees. I heard you had the doors off.
Doors off.
Doors off. There was a Snapchat photo or something. That's how we knew that. And but it was hot out and you overheated.
Overheated. Yep. I saw the temperature gauge in the red. Pulled over.
And it boiled over and you had to add a bunch, right? Okay. So what we did with his cooling system was we realized that it had just turned to muck, and we did a video on that, and I'll put a link to it right above his head. And we did a video on that, and we kept flushing out and flushing out and flushing it out, and we never finished doing the flush. He actually had antifreeze and radiator flush in it, and now that the weather broke, we can use some water, but we're draining the antifreeze out. It looks clean, so all our flushing worked. We're going to put straight water in it because we're still troubleshooting. So the only thing we really didn't address is, now we got everything cleaned out, is the thermostat. And we did notice when we were doing the flushes that the thermostat was opening late, opening real slow. So it was like at 220, 225 degrees before that thermostat fully opened up and then started bringing the temperature down. And actually a couple times when we first warmed it up, when it was still cold out, it got up to over 230 before we saw that thermostat open up and the temperature start coming down. So we did a couple of months ago order a thermostat, a gasket, and never really had a chance to get together and put it in. So what we're going to do today is we're going to empty out all the flush and coolant or antifreeze, depending on where you live. It depends on what you call it. You know, guys that live in a cold climate call it antifreeze. Guys that live down south call it coolant. But we're going to empty all that out. We are going to change the thermostat and gasket. Not a hard thing to do, no crazy special tools required, and then we're going to refill it with water, and we're going to see if the new thermostat is now opening and closing where it's supposed to be, around 195, 200 degrees. And I have a feeling that when the previous owner mixed all those different kinds of antifreeze together or coolant together, and it caused that muck to form inside everything, just like we had to keep flushing it to get it all out of the radiator. It probably got embedded in the thermostat, and it could have just either screwed up the thermostat, or maybe it's just time for a thermostat. So the hoses are in good shape. You're not leaking anything. So replacing the thermostat hopefully will solve that. If it doesn't, we got to think that now the radiator is the culprit. We might have to throw a new radiator in it. But we'll take it one step at a time. It's his daily driver, but not his everyday daily driver. He does have a newer vehicle that he could drive. So if this thing starts to exhibit some kind of malfunction, he's got a car that he can use, so it's not so bad. So we'll move the camera. We'll get some basic tools out. All right. So we pulled the drain cock off the bottom of the radiator. We're letting the fluid come out. All right. This still has the original style spring clamps, so you just put a pair of pliers on it. Right. Wiggle it back like that, and then just give it a slight turn. You don't want to grab this because sometimes they kind of really stick against the radiator, and you don't want to take it and really grab it hard because you could crack. It's only plastic on the radiator, so you want to give it a little gentle twist. If it didn't pop right off, we would stick like a little pick or something in there just to break it free from the plastic, but this popped right off. And you could still see on the neck of the radiator here, I think I'm a little off camera. Where am I? There I am. But there's still some muck on the neck of the radiator, and that's from that coolant, non-compatible coolants that were mixed together. That's 800 junk mail, or that's 800 AAA. Alright, nice and easy. hose comes off, you can see in the neck of this hose that there still is some muck in there. Right now on this neck you also have a heater hose. We'll pull that off and out of the way. And then the last thing that you need to remove is this electrical connector, which goes to your coolant temperature sensor.
Is the latch getting on? Yeah.
Alright, so that's coming nice. And then there's one underneath, which is sort of in the way of the belt. So for this one, it looks like we're going to have to loosen the belt up in order to get it off. Yeah. So what you're going to do is you're just going to loosen this pulley up, because that pulley is going to slide up and down on a shaft.
Okay.
And then you're going to take a 15 millimeter on an extension, and you're going to put it on this one here. Right? And as you turn this, loosening, it's going to slide that pulley down. See what happens? There's a rod that goes in to the back side of this pulley, so you just have to loosen this nut just a little bit so that the pulley will move up and down. And as you loosen this one, that pulley goes down and down and down. So just keep loosening that until that pulley goes down. Good. Alright, so now that we got that loose, pull the belt over here like that, get it out of our way.
Is this the same size as?
Nope, we're going to go to this one. It should be this size. We'll have to put on a little extension so we can get in there, because that next bolt is farther in. Two bolts, they're out. Just a little smack to knock it loose. Alright, and there's the housing. Alright, the old thermostat is in there. It is kind of gunked up. Alright, there's the old thermostat. Usually says the temperature on the back side. 195. So this thermostat is supposed to open at 195, and it was opening a lot higher than 195 because we saw it as it went. And that's just the old gasket. Yeah, not too bad. Okay, so getting the thermostat housing off isn't completely hard. Two bolts. They come out. Just be gentle with them so that you don't snap them. Sometimes they're really in there. This is all gunked up with residue from the muck. You see on my finger, I mean, that's mucky. So we're gonna scrape this the rest of the gasket off. You know, clean this up real good, and we're gonna reinstall this with the new thermostat. The old thermostat does say 195 degrees. If you look on the back side, they say 195 degrees. It'll tell you how many degrees it is. See, it's got a pound rating, 9.15 pounds, and then it says A195. The 195 is the degrees that it should open up, and the 9.15 pounds, from what I understand, is the spring pressure. But we know that this was not opening at 195 pounds, because when we had the code scanner plugged in, we watched the temperature go up to around 200, 220. Yeah. So, was the temp sensor lying to us? Would you get down? Dog's jumping on him. Was the temp sensor lying to us and giving a wrong reading? We're not really going to know until we put this new one back in. So we're going to clean up the thermostat housing. We're going to scrape the gasket off the front of the cylinder head so that we have a clean mounting surface for the new gasket and the new thermostat. So we'll go clean that housing up, and we'll scrape the gasket off, and then we'll put the camera back. So the new thermostat, when you put it in,
You
the
also
sensor,
turn
that's
it, right?
the sensor, right? The sensor goes into the back, right? And on these vehicles, the hose pretty much comes up straight and around, so you just want it cocked right towards where the hose would go. So it follows, because that's how the flow, flows there.
Right.
So if you had it like this, it would be interrupting the flow, because it's flowing out like that, so it'd have to
Right.
go around that. You sort of leave it just like that.
Okay.
That's how it goes, and a gasket's going to go on top of that.
Right.
Alright, so this, it's not going to go like that, it's going to go like this. It could only go on one way,
Right.
which is like that,
Right.
right? And what we're going to do is we're just going to put a little bit of silicone on both sides of this so that it sticks and it doesn't move, and it helps take up any imperfections in the gasket or in the metal surfaces that the gasket can't take up with.
Alright.
Alright, so we have our gasket surfaces cleaned off. We took our thermostat housing, we cleaned it off real good, and we put a thin layer of silicone on both sides of the gasket, thermostat in place, and now we're just going to take the thermostat, give me the one bolt, the long one. We also cleaned the threads on the bolts and just put a little white grease. They don't go into a water jacket in this particular application. So the white grease, remember, is to be courteous for the next guy, because the next guy very possibly could be you. Alright, so you just start one in, and then we're going to start the other one in. Alright, so we're going to put them in by hand, all the way. If you come over here, your head won't be blocking the camera. Hey, you should have got from this side. Alright, and while he's putting them in hand tight, I am going to look up the torque specs. Gives me 156 inch-pounds. So I'm going to do inch-pounds to foot-pounds calculator. Inch-pounds.
How tight should I make that?
5, 6. Just get them snug for now. It's 13 foot-pounds we got to make it. So let me get the torque wrench, and we'll go to 13 foot-pounds. On the bolt, right?
Right.
And see how that needle moves? Now stand in front of the Jeep.
Oh,
Right up here. When it gets halfway between 10 and 20, there, there's a 10.
Still 10.
It's a 10, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so let's bring this one to 10. Oh, it's done. Now we got this on. Everything's sealed up. We could reattach our hoses, and we could reattach our electrical connection, and we're going to put our belt back on. So before we do the hoses and stuff, we might as well do the belt. So the belt,
You gotta tighten.
right? We have to put it back over
Here you go.
all our pulleys. So you're going to look down, make sure you got it on the bottom one. You do. Correct. Now what you're going to do is you're going to keep tightening that, right? Until now, every like 10 or 15 tightens.
Yep.
Take your hand off for a second, so I can pull my hand down here, right? And you're going to feel this belt. See how loose that is?
Yeah. It's
Right?
gotta be tighter.
It's got to be tighter. You want it to where it's got like a quarter to a half inch of play. Yeah.
And then
Now you take the big one.
the big one.
And you got to tighten that
The
pulley.
bottom one, that,
Yep.
right?
So now put it on more this way, because you got to pull it towards you. Yeah, there you go. Good. Good. Pull it. Tight?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Alright, so we got the belt back on, the belt's tight. Now, we just reversed the order that we had it, right? Electrical connection
Yep.
goes right there. heater hose.
Clamp down these things.
Slide it in all the way.
It's a pretty cool way of doing it.
Clamp. Clamp down. Right, these aren't the worm gear clamps where you gotta tighten them. So it's easy to know exactly how tight to make it because Alright, we got everything bolted back up. Right? Hose is on, upper hose, thermostat's in, bolts are in, heater hose is on, electrical connection for your temperature sender is on, so we're good to go. All we got to do is close that petcock in the bottom.
Right.
We'll flush the radiator out a couple times with water. We'll fill it up with fresh water, let it warm up, see if it opens up at the right temperature. If it does, we know that was the problem. If it still climbs to 228, 230 before it opens up that thermostat, then we know we still got to look elsewhere.
Yeah.
Hopefully this solves the problem. If it does, we'll drive it for a couple more days. We'll flush that water out. We'll put fresh coolant or antifreeze, depending on where you're from in the country, so that you're good. You got a 50-50 mix in there, and we know, okay, cooling system's done. Let's move on to the next thing, which is the evap, right? And the evap is going to be a completely separate thing. It's going to be a separate video, and that's going to take a little bit of trial and error, a little bit of troubleshooting. But at least we got this set. So if you need to change your thermostat, right? Would you be able to do it if I wasn't here?
Yeah.
Right? If you pulled in the driveway and could use my tools.
Yeah.
Right?
100%. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Nice and easy.
Right, that's our goal. If you enjoyed the episode, please give us that thumbs up, right? Come on. Thumbs up means a lot to us. And if you like what we're doing here at Axel's Garage, please subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.